So right now, let's jump into the various hazards that could occur on the shoreline campus or in the shoreline area. You might recognize my little friend here. This is typically what happens when we get scared. We gasp, we hold our breath, and we don't breathe. When a stressor comes our way, the best thing that you can do is stop, take a deep breath, and get the oxygen going to your brain so that you can think clearly on next steps. Stop and listen to what is happening around you before you decide what the best response is. So we're going to start with fire, and this is one of the most common emergency incidents. Most of us have had fire training since we were little. In K through 12, we learned fire drills. When you see a fire, immediately call security, and if it's large or growing, call 911 as well. The worst thing about fire is smoke. It's toxic. Everything that's burning is released into the air. If you remember as a child, you were taught to get down on the floor and do a belly crawl out of the room. This is because smoke rises and the last bit of air is near the floor. Fire happens very quickly, so you must leave immediately. I'm going to show you a short video now on how quickly a fire takes over a room. Notice the timer on the lower left-hand corner of the video so that you'll see how fast this truly happens.
The first thing you need to understand is how fire really works and how rapidly it can spread. In most structure fires, an event called flashover occurs, where smoke from the fire eventually bursts into flames, igniting everything beneath it. Let me show you how quickly this can happen if somebody had dropped a cigarette in this chair. Right now you can see the smoke coming up and the beginnings of flame. It's pumping out tremendous amounts of carbon monoxide, toxic fumes. The heat is beginning to build up. As the heat builds up, gradually the fire will ignite into flames and begin to send the heat up because it's buoyant and start the curtains burning and the continuation of the fire up into the ceiling levels. A lot of people think that a fire starts down low, but what you're going to see is this phenomenon of flashover where all the heat goes up and begins to heat everything above the chair. Right about now, a smoke detector would be going off in the house if we had one placed in there. And as you see the fire grow, as it licks up this curtain, if there was a sprinkler out about 8 feet diagonally from the corner of this room, it would be activating right now, either extinguishing the fire or actually controlling the fire and holding it right to this place. Right now, the temperature of the ceiling is about 570 degrees. So as it continues to build, you begin to see the banking down of the smoke from the ceiling. The heat is getting much more intense. The room is beginning to heat up tremendously. In fact, as you see the curtains dropping down, the level of smoke and heat can get down to about head high in just a few seconds. And it could be anywhere from 800 to 1,000 degrees. Right now, at the floor level of the room, it's about 212 degrees. That's the boiling point of water. As you see this fire build, what's happening is it's changing the form of the chair into particles and putting it up into the room. Everything else, the plastics, the wood, all the combustible materials in the rooms are beginning to heat up. It's getting ready to create the phenomenon of flashover. As you see the heat building down and the smoke, in just a few seconds you'll see the entire room burst into flame. Everything in there that's combustible will instantly ignite. Right about now, flashover is occurring. You can see all the smoke turning orange, fire consuming all the combustibles. 2 minutes it took for the room to flash over. Now, if you watch the base of the door, you're going to see something awesome. Most people don't see this. The fire will actually breathe. You can see the throat of the fire open up at the base of the door. You see it breathing? In and out. When firefighters go up to a house where the door is closed, they can actually hear the sucking of the air coming in and then the pushing of the smoke and heat as it comes out. In just a moment, all the windows will explode and the fire will consume everything. There's no real reason why you have to fear flashover if you know what to do during a fire, and also if you have fire protection systems at home, at work, and when you travel. Many of us have a tremendous fear of fire, mainly because we don't really understand what it really does. We've seen horrendous pictures on TV and the news.
So if you've just viewed the video, you'll see that's pretty amazing. Within 2 minutes, the entire room is in flames. And that tells you why we have to leave a room so quickly during a fire. So you can fight a small fire if it's very small and you have a fire extinguisher at your disposal. We have about 250 fire extinguishers or more all over the campus. So we're going to talk about how to use a fire extinguisher, but you can only do so under certain circumstances. That would be if the fire is small, you have an escape route, and you have a way to get to that door, and if you're not going to breathe in the smoke. If someone can call security and/or 911 during this process, that's really helpful. But you can use a fire extinguisher to put out a small fire. The method that you use is called pass. Just remember pass. You pull the pin, aim at the base of the flames, squeeze the trigger, and sweep back and forth at the base of the flames. Most people want to raise the hose up and shoot at the top of the flames thinking that's going to drop the fire down. But what you're doing is taking away the oxygen at the base of that fire. So let's practice pass. I'm going to show you a short video now that gives you a good demonstration on how to use a fire extinguisher.
Hi, I'm Joel with the Bremerton Fire Department. I'd like to take a moment to talk with you about fire extinguishers. Fire extinguishers are a safe, effective tool for extinguishing small fires. When it comes to fire, be smart. This fire extinguisher, which most people have in their home, will discharge its entire contents in 10 to 15 seconds. That is why we use fire extinguishers on small fires. Fire extinguishers are rated A, B, and C fires. A being ordinary combustibles such as paper and wood products. B being flammable and combustible liquids such as gas. C for electrical fires such as your toaster or blender. To use the extinguisher, remember pass. Pull, aim, squeeze, and sweep. Pull the pin. Aim at the base of the fire, not the flames. Squeeze the trigger. And sweep at the base of the fire. Pull the pin. Aim at the base of the fire, not the flames. Squeeze the trigger and sweep at the base of the fire. Some important things to remember. Always keep the exit between you and the fire. If the fire grows rapidly and becomes too large to extinguish, exit the area. If you are inside, shut the doors on your way out. Keep the extinguisher where it is accessible. Small fires spread rapidly. In summary, fire extinguishers are used to extinguish small fires. Never put yourself at risk by attempting to extinguish large fires. Possessions can be replaced. You can't.